can actually open the... Oh my god, there's a car in here. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I didn't think there was actually cars in here. Now I want to go look inside. That's amazing. All right, folks, welcome to Clear Cut, where we're going to have a bunch of fun trying to get 3,000 AP points.
You're on yard duties today. There are several locomotive sets that need moving around. Climb aboard each one. I'll brief you on what's required.
Alright guys, so in case you want to know how to know your engine numbers, on the side it actually said GP38-2. So this little engine here, it's a GP38-2. This happened to be one of several engines we got to move. This guy, and all the way over here we got to move these guys. If we zoom in on this guy, this is our SD40-2s. This is actually connected to 3 SD40-2s and wants me to get into this front one over here for some reason. And the last one, of course, is the AC4400. And look, it keeps it simple. It says basically CW44AC instead of AC4400CW. So how simple is that? Isn't that awesome? Anyway, so let's go ahead and pick an engine. Which one shall we go with? Alright folks, so we climbed aboard the SD40-2. So we're going to sit in this train and let the guy talk to us for just a second.
This locomotive set has just been refreshed and refueled. Head out and hook them up to your next assigned train.
So interestingly, this has nothing to do with turntables. This train actually needs to go somewhere. If we look at the list here, it says our goal is to turn on the lights, couple the formation at coal train, which is somewhere out there. I don't know where it is. Essentially turn the lights off, turn the train off, basically, so to speak, and just stop our train. This train is here. We don't actually know where it's going to go just yet. So let's go ahead and listen to what they want us to do by technically going inside, hitting our lights too bright, which is kind of dumb in a train yard. So we're just going to pop this back into dim. For now, we're going to put our rear light to dim, and it wants us to set up our ditch light and our gauge light, which is fine. And now it tells us the coal train is way over there. So let's see where that is on the map. Our map says it is about here. But what's interesting is it doesn't actually tell you how to get there. So it's really up to you to figure out the switching route to get there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set up these 3 engines for that train. And actually this is technically the lead engine right now. Technically the lead engine needs to be in the very back one, because if you kind of look at how this is going to go, this train's going to roll out here, kind of come up here, and then eventually park there. And so eventually this here will be a trail engine. So let me turn this back into a trail engine. All right, folks, so I've turned this one back into a trailing engine. The only thing I got to do is turn the engine run off, make sure the gen field's off, and control and fuel pump is off. I don't have a handle in there. I turned my lights back off. The automatic brake is off. Independent brake is released. This is still set to cut out, which I'm going to leave that way. This is set to trail 626, and there's nothing else on here I did other than turn on the number lights in the front and the back, and put the headlight controls from another unit coupled at either end. Oh my god, what a tongue twister! So we're going to get out of this train. We're going to leave this train here. We're going to go to the train next door. All right, folks. So for the train next door, just to kind of help you out where we are, we're now in the second engine, this guy right here. And we're eventually going to set up this one as our lead engine. This is essentially our goal here. This is trail, and this is lead. If you see the Google spreadsheet here, you only want to follow number 1 for this engine that I'm pointing at right here. And then these 2 will both be number 2. Ignore the 3 and 4 because we have nothing on the other end for right now. And so on the inside of this train, all we need to do is turn on our number lights for this one. Set this one up to be controlled from another unit from coupled at either end. And then over here, make sure our handle's off. Independent brake is released. Cutout set to cut out. Trail 626. And we don't really need anything else in there. Don't need the lights. And we just need to make sure these 3 are turned off. Control fuel pump, engine run, and gen field are properly off. Let's go ahead and jump into the front engine sitting at the turntable over there. Folks, have you ever had a glitch where you can't get on your train? This is so weird. I can't get up on my train. It's so interesting. It won't let me on there. I don't know what I did wrong, but apparently it doesn't like me right now. Okay. Alright folks, in case you want to know about the handbrake, it's probably going to be released already. Why this train's not rolling down the hill boggles my mind. Now there's no co-pilot in this one because I decided to switch engines here, so I am now on my own, so to speak. And we're going to turn on our number lights for this one. This is now, because this is our lead engine, as you can see by the Google spreadsheet there. This is now controlling with unit coupled at long head end because the short head end is sitting right here in front of me here. We are going to turn on the warning alerters for this one in just a minute. But for now, we're going to turn on the gauge lights Come on, gauge light. There we go. Turn on the gauge light. Turn on the ditch light. Turn on our cabin light so you can see everything I'm doing here. This one here is going to have the engine run on, gen field on, control fuel pump on. We're going to put our hand reverser in. Our light here is going to be dim. Our backlight is going to be dim. And just to check, we even have an engine that runs here. This engine's completely dead. Look at this. This is so funny. I bet you this engine's not even turned on. Let's go see lead or dead. That should do it, right? Why is my engine not working? That's so funny. Okay, well, there we go. Freight. We got freight on. This is so hilarious. Well, let's go see what happens if we do this by releasing this. This guy's going to get released. This handle is going to get released as well. We're going to go in here. We're going to turn on the radio. We're going to turn on the warning devices. And I technically should roll backward if I set this up to go reverse. There it goes. Okay, I was like, I thought I had a dead engine for a second, but it's not dead. And actually, before we get this train moving, we're going to be going somewhere here, and we don't even know where we're going. So, hold up, train. Thank you. Woo, that was close. Okay, we're going to go back into this back one. Did we just pass the switch? We did. Okay. All right, folks. So I just moved up the train just a little bit to make sure this train was working properly. So our goal is to get over here. So the easiest way to do this is look at how this works backwards. So our coal train's here. We're going to roll along this track here. We're going to be working with this switch right here. So we want to make sure we change that one switch. And we follow this like purple line that's going down. Eventually that hits this switch. So eventually we're going to have to switch this switch. So, but all this means is all we need to do is get to here or here, and we will be perfectly fine. Where our train's coming out, we need to go down one of these two tracks here. And the trick between these two tracks is figuring out, okay, how do I get my engine from there to here? And if we just follow this track without changing that switch down there for a second, and we kind of see that this train eventually links up right around here. So that means it would behoove us to just go not this direction, but to change the switch so we're going this direction. That's why I moved the train up just a little bit, but not past the switch. And then we want to take this switch and start changing our track to eventually end up on this switch here. And then this switch is the one that's going to go all the way up to over here. We're going to have this one switched over. That's already switched just fine. And that's going to roll us up to right here. And we need to go a little bit further, as you can see. And that will put us exactly where we want to be. All right, folks, so it's probably a little hard to tell from here where we're going and everything, but there's our train. There's our turntable behind us. And you can start to see our merging track. It's going to take us over that way and merge this way. And we're going to end up on the track that the turntable is connected to, which happens to be the track right next to us. None of that probably made sense when I was showing you on the screen there with the map. But we want to end up on this track here, and that's what's going to happen with our train as it rolls forward. All right, folks, so I stopped here on purpose with the switch back there. I want to make sure that when you get to this point, you don't end up on the wrong switch. It's very tempting to end up going down this path right here, but if we just zoom forward a little bit, you're going to find out that this path goes right to a siding. This is the terrible place to be, honestly, because then you'll never get to your destination, which would be very bad for business. So we're going to put this on forward. We're going to get our train moving forward. And for anybody who accused me saying, hey, you didn't blow the horn earlier, there we go. We got our 2 horn blows. Technically, in a switching yard, you don't need to blow the horn. Goodness. You're just moving around the switching yard. It's probably going to be a little more important over there versus in here. This yard, it probably won't matter as much. All right, folks. Alerter's going off again as we're stopping our train. And what we want to do is we want to stop our train just after the switch right here, because this is the switch that's going to take us to our rail cars. And I hope I make it without having to bail off. That'd be dumb if I need to bail off again. I'm probably going to have to bail off again. Oh my god, Strain, why do you stop there? Keep going. Keep going. You're almost over the switch. Just 2 more. Can you do it? I bailed off already. Oh my gosh, I made it. That's awesome. Look at that. The wheel just going right there. That's perfect. Yay, we could just flip our switch right here. Bam, done. This alerter here is going to get set off, so we're going to set this to cut out. The point of cut out there is not to accidentally flood the brake pipes with these coal cars here. The fact that we don't actually turn this little handle here. And if you want to play this with full realism, this is probably the second best way to do it without causing a PCS valve release and emergency release here. If you do happen to get a PCS valve emergency release, you could do a couple things. You can actually switch the freight to cutout and back to freight again, and that should technically reset it. for the pressure that it's at, but you may actually have to wait for the brake pipes to kind of fill up a little bit to be able to do that safely. The other way is waiting 2 actual real world minutes for it to reset, which is just totally dumb and stupid that it does that. But it's a game and it's full on realism, so oh well. We're going to slow down a little bit and we're going to hook up here. 1.7 miles an hour. This is good enough to hook up. Technically, for any rail yard, you need to be at least 4 miles an hour to do this. So this is perfect. We're going to lock on our independent brake. And it says right there to switch off any active lights in the locomotive. We're not even in this locomotive, so I'm probably going to have to go over there to do that. So we're actually in the wrong locomotive compared to where it wants me to do what it wants me to do, but we'll see what it says. Our goal here after that is make you set reverser to neutral and automatic brake to full service. Sure. In order to do that properly, we do need to bleed the brake pipes out, so let's go ahead and do that. And the easiest way to do that is to set this up to full service here, and that will get us down to 63. Notice our brake pipe pressure of the cars is at 6, so we need to turn this to handle off and just let this bleed down at least to 10. Don't go too low or else you're going to end up with the wonderful problem of, you know, emergency brake PTS valve going on and everything. But just go down far enough so they're more equal, so that way at least when you turn this back on the freight, it's properly done. So there's my 10 right there, and that will do. I'm going to put this on full service. We're going to flip this guy from cutout to freight, and that now equalizes the pressure, so to speak, in the brake pipes. And I don't have anything to worry about, so to speak. I'm going to leave this on full application, and it wants me to turn off any lights in the car, so let's go ahead and turn these guys off. Will it do it? No, it didn't like it, so okay. Okay, so even though this is not really a tutorial mission, Train Sim World 2 thinks I'm still in this engine, regardless of what version of game I'm playing here. So it does want me to turn off number lights, etc. on this one, so let's go ahead and sit in the engineer seat here, and it wanted me to turn off the step lights. Are you serious? Fine. Climb aboard a locomotive that needs moving. We're going to put this back to handle off because we don't need this engine anymore. Sure, and I'm actually going to turn the step light back on because I don't know why it wants me to do that. Anyhow, so it wants me to get on a locomotive that needs moving. Let's go to our map real quick. It actually wants me to move this guy, which is interesting, even though originally it said to move these two. So what's up with this? We're not even using the turntable. Yes, it's possible. I just want to know, the game won't actually let you go back over here. This is like a dead end right there. So if you try to go back for the other engines, it won't let you do that. And actually, if you try to walk on the tracks, it's kind of funny because it will stop you on the tracks also. So you can't even get to these two engines because it wants you to go to that engine over there.
Well, that's cleared the decks a bit. Thanks for helping out. Grab a coffee. You deserve a break.
What? Are you telling me I'm done? You're telling me to get a coffee and I'm done. Are you serious? Did you hear what he said? He said basically we're done. We don't even sit in this engine. What the heck, man? So let's get inside this engine, the AC4400CW, and see what they want us to do here.
Having just arrived in Cumberland, these need taking over to the locomotive shop for refueling and refreshment. Be sure to disconnect them from the rest of the train first.
Alright folks, so he wants us to essentially get this train over to refueling, and he wants us to set the distributed power fuse on. We're not going to do that just yet. We're going to look on the outside because I'm super curious about the fuel levels here. I think it's practically full. What do you want us to fill up on this thing? It's already full. This one's also full too. So what's the point? I don't get it, but that's okay. Let's just go inside and come back up here and turn on the distributed power. And what do you want me to turn on now? You want me to turn on the light next. So turn on front headlights dim. That will do. Use the front headlight. Good job. It wants me to turn it on to bright auxiliary. Who needs to use bright auxiliary in these rail yards? What the heck, man? Let's just go put it back on dim. And then it says disconnect the coupler from behind the locomotive. Keep in mind the warning on this engine is technically off, so you actually have to turn it on with your keyboard if you're using a keyboard. Let's go ahead and uncouple the train from the back. I can actually open that. Oh my gosh, there's a car in here. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I didn't think there was actually cars in here. Now I want to go look inside. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I didn't think... Oh, there's both doors open. I thought it was just to climb a path. I could go inside to see the cars. That's epic. Look at that. They're all Teslas. Oh god, I'm going to get myself trapped in here. How do I get out? I'm out. I want to climb out, dude. I'm stuck. Okay, that's the door. I want to get out. How do I get out? Okay, this is funny. I'm totally stuck. It said, there it goes. I was like, where the heck is the climb button, dude? That's so messed up. Anyway, so let's go ahead and shut the door and lock it for safety's sake. Don't go in this car, people. Okay, folks, if you're looking for the handbrake, it's in a weird place for this particular car. It's actually sitting on the side of the car here, and it's a little lever that goes to this thing that goes all the way into the middle of the train and eventually locks it right under there. Restricted loading only. Good. Well, that's nice. So let's go ahead and lock this handbrake down, and we're just going to go ahead and pump this handbrake until it's properly applied at 100%. To release this, ironically, you have to essentially... Come on, release, darn it. Alright folks, to release this, I actually had to look for this. It's next to the OK sign, so to speak. That will help you release your handbrake right there. And it's got 2 different levers to release the handbrake. It's odd that one gear doesn't actually rotate. It's very interesting. But yeah, that locks our handbrake for this rail car here. And now we can go ahead and get this uncoupled. There's 2 ways to uncouple it. You can uncouple it by the car, or you can uncouple it by the engine. I highly recommend using the engine rather than the car to do the uncoupling, because if you do this, a lot of times it will lock itself and relock the cars onto the train. As you can see, the glitch there happening. It's probably better just to do this to make sure you have your engine properly unlocked from that. It's still glitching anyways, but we're going to leave it there. So yeah, we're ready to move this train. So why it wants us to move the automatic handle is beyond me. We just need to release this here and fill up the brake pipes. We really need to work with independent brake and bail that guy off. And we're going to get a whole bunch of things apparently. And to set the alerter is control... I believe control enter, is it? No. Oh, there it goes. Shift enter is what I'm thinking of. My goodness, it's been a few days before I set that one up there. That will turn on the alerter here, and we have an acknowledge button. That's ready to go. Our air brake needs to be turned on now to cut in or freight, and then we also need to set, if you notice, it didn't even tell us to set anything else. We need to also set lead and trail to set this up to lead, so that way we have cut in and lead, or else we can't stop our train. It's so dumb that we don't even tell us how to use this properly in a game. What else do you want me to do? What are you looking for? Oh, you want me to turn that on down there. Let me go 1, 2, 3, and that should do it. Gen field on. And because it's a hot day, I'm going to put this on cool for now, and that should do. Step lights are on. Gauge lights would be helpful to have that. There is a lot to do in this one just to get this train moving someplace. So it wants me to blow the horn twice, and of course the bell is a separate button, so make sure you hit the bell as a separate button. Stop at location fuel shed. Before I do, push Q. That will cover the alerter. So we're going to be taking this train from here back, basically back where we came from. So all we got to do is go down this one track here that we started with. And so just kind of following along with the tracks to set up your switches. Make sure your switches are set up properly. And I lost my train already. That's so funny. That's what I thought. We're going all the way back into this very back switch right here. So just kind of keep in mind, we're going from here all the way to the back there. And then this back engine there, because we've already set up this other stuff, the only one we got to change is the one that we drove our train to. And that will set everything up to go down this one track here. And all we have to do is get to the fuel shed. And if we follow the fuel shed back, it's eventually going to link up nowhere, as you can see there. So we do have to switch over our train to get there. And let me just hit the alerter. I probably shouldn't have turned the alerter on just yet, but yeah, we just have to eventually get our train over there. And the best way to do that is to get our train to go back here and then eventually switch this guy and have this one switch here going forward, this one going one over, and then this is going to go around the fuel shed, so to speak, and that's going to park us essentially where we left off with our first train. And then we can get to a fuel shed by going down these paths here, which is what we're going to do. We're going to set up all these switches. All right, folks, so this is the switch we want to get past. You may have noticed this. Maybe you didn't notice this. I didn't bother changing the gen field instructions in the other engine. I just left it alone. We're not actually doing anything with that engine. We're just basically towing it. So I'm not going to worry about that so much. But if you guys are really OCD about it, I will be more than happy to change it for you so it's properly set up. And let's just hit the alerter to make sure we got that alerter going. And now we need to for sure stop this train because we have just passed our switch that we wanted to pass, which is this guy right here. All right, folks, so we are stopping our train here just past the switch. It's kind of rolling a little too fast because I probably wasn't paying too much of attention here. But we're going to be slowing this train down just enough so that way we can get past here. And once we're past the switch, we'll be ready to get this train moving in the opposite direction. And in case you want to know where we went, we were put it this way, we came from the car there, went this way, came down that path, and eventually got back to where we started with the other 3 engines of the SD40s. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take the switch I've already switched that's going to take us going back forward. It's going to cross over both of these switches, and it's going to roll us right past the fuel shed, so to speak. And then that's going to link us with this switch over here, and all we have to do is park our train just past the switch. Okay guys, I did not pay attention. I am crazily speeding. I am going way over speed. I don't know why I'm doing that. Oh my god, I went way over speed right there. I was not paying attention. I was having too much fun driving a train around that I wasn't paying attention to my speed. I'm so bad. Oh my god. Thank god it only takes up 15 AP points instead of like bad numbers. So all we got to do is make sure, by the way, when we stop, we don't crash into that building right there. That's our goal with this, to not accidentally crash. And we just need to get past this switch right here, and we should be in a pretty decent shape. Okay folks, I climbed up this wonderful tower of whatever this is here. Yeah, no I didn't. It wouldn't probably never let me climb up because this guy's in the way, and there's no way to lift this up, which is really annoying. You would think you can climb up here. It would be kind of cool to climb up here, because this is such a great vantage point to watch a train rolling on by. And the goal here with this train is to pass this switch right there that I'm looking at. Once this engine gets past that, we're pretty much in a good position, but we also don't want to make sure that we don't accidentally go too fast or too far. So let's hope for the best that I stop in time. Actually, being on the rail yards going 5 miles an hour, it's really easy to stop a train. And all I have to do is just wait on passing the switch and basically put on the independent brake, and my train will pretty much come to a dead stop pretty easily. To not ruin the train, we're not going to overdo it, but that's more than good enough right there. And we're going to lock our train right here for a second. And we're going to go to the map for a moment. And we're going to the fuel yard right here, or the fuel refueling station. This one's already set. This switch, ironically, is already set. So it's this one. Could I set these 3 already earlier, or they were already set beforehand? All I have to do is change the one switch that's right in front of me. And then set this train now to reverse, because we're now reversing this train. Power handle should go to N1. And if I did the right thing, I should be going in the right direction, hopefully. So this game, whatever reason, it's kind of, sometimes it's dumb, sometimes it's not. I don't mean that liberally, or maybe I do. But you would think that it would want me to refuel both engines with the same amount of fuel in both engines. Instead, it wants me to only refuel one engine. So I can't understand that at all, why it would even do that. And once my train comes over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the alerter off. I think it'll be kind of important to do that, because leaving it on here would be terrible. So in fact, I'm going to turn it off right now so I don't accidentally forget that it's on, because I want to spend a little time working on refueling the train and have a moment to actually do that. So it'll be a perfect place to stop. Let's stop right there. Oh, it even says to do it. Oh my gosh, fine. Well, okay then. I'm going to refuel this guy first then. To refuel this, we can either get out of the train to do it. We can't. Well, actually, we're going to have to get out of the train to do this. I probably should have put that thing in neutral, but I did not. You want me to pick this up, but you're supposed to take the cap off first. That's so odd. Why would you have me pick this up and not take the cap off? Is it refueling? Wait, no. Come on. Oh, I have to turn the handle. I'm so dumb. Begin refueling by turning the handle. There it goes. Let's see how much fuel this thing will get. So apparently this back engine is full. It's at 4749, so okay. That's fine. It's still complaining that it wants me to connect the refuel pump there. So let's close this guy. 4749 is what we're looking for. That switch is in a pretty dangerous location right there, but okay. I'm like tripping over that. So I wonder I didn't trip over it the first time. I was kind of curious if it would let me refuel that back engine first or not. Apparently it complained because it says that the back engine is not properly the engine it needs refueling for. So it wants us to fill up this one right here. And I assume that red stripe is where my fuel line is. So we're going to find out when we come out of the train car if that's actually true. That's where my fuel line is, because that seems logical to have that stripe there when I'm looking out the window. Look at that, it is right. The stripe does indicate the fuel line. That's awesome. It's a little bit off-centered, but that's okay. This thing can reach there. Oh good, it actually did it. Let's go ahead and begin refueling. And let's fill this guy up. I wish the little bar measure thing worked, but it doesn't work. So let's see if we can get kind of the same number up here. Okay, that's hilarious. Go sit in the engineer's seat and wait for further instructions with the fuel line just dangling like that. Good job, right? Good job. Why don't we just do that, right? That'd be dumb. Okay, 47.49. This one got 47.49. And this one got, what did this one get? 47, 40. Okay, it did do the same thing. Fine. Go hook this up. It didn't even need any gas. That's so dumb. I don't know why it needed gas, but it wanted gas. Down horn twice and then stop at pit track. Where is the pit track, you must ask? It's literally right behind us. So all we have to do is change the couple switches. This one right here needs to be changed, and then that one. Actually, none of them need to be changed. We just roll up right to it, basically. And we finally come to a complete stop with this engine. And let us see what they tell us to do next. Set this independent brake to full application. Set lights to off. Why does it look like a throttle when it says set lights to off? I just don't understand that. Let's go ahead and close the window. We don't need the window. Let's turn the bell off. We don't need the bell. Let's go ahead and set this to off and set this one to off as well. And turn off the warnings because we don't need that anymore. What does it want? Reverses to neutral. Automatic brake to full service. Neutral. And this guy to full service. Ooh, geez. Good thing I didn't have the warning device on. Geez, that would have been terrible. So it didn't want me to go into that engine. It wants me to go into the other engine. That's perfectly fine. We're going to actually have to move our turntable anyways. So let's go ahead and do the turntable first and just get that over with. Why not, right? The turntable is already unlocked because I unlocked it earlier. And I want the other camera. There it goes. That's perfect. That should give us the right camera. And we're going to move this to the... What in the world? Where's the engine? That's the stairs. That's right there in front of me. That's so weird. That's actually facing our engine, but the engine doesn't exist. Well, let's just go ahead and lock this here. That's perfectly fine. Now our turntable is properly set to the right engine, and let's hop into that guy, see what they want us to do next.
This locomotive has had several traction motors replaced. It's ready to be put back to work. So flip it around on the turntable and hook it up to the assigned train.
So the goal with this engine, basically flip this thing around, that's about it, and tells us to do all sorts of things. And this is actually the one that actually tells you how to start an engine for once. After not telling you this for 3 chapters, it finally tells you how to start an engine. Isn't that crazy? Let's go ahead and set these things up to control fuel pump on, gen field on, engine run on. We're gonna put the lights to dim, not medium, dim. Light to dim. Cut out valve to freight. MU2A valve to lead or dead. This one's already set that way. This one is going to be on full application. This one's going to be on release. And ditch light on, depth light on, gauge lights on. That should cover all of our ons. And in here, we have to actually set the breaker for once this game actually tells you how to use a breaker. Yay, because otherwise our fuel fuses don't work. This is a great way to tell that your fuse works by setting the breaker. And with that on, let's make sure we don't need the radio for this one. We're going to leave the warning devices off. Everything else is on like it should be. And the only thing we got to do is basically turn on our engine. But before we even do that, we probably should set this guy to start, stop, isolate. It's already set for me. That's beautiful. And over here it says turn that latch. We're just going to turn on the opposite one. That will do. Open our panel. And in case you wanted to know, there is a light for that if you ever want to. Platform light and engine room light, just so you can see a little something in here. There's real oil pressure in here. Excellent. This is going to be prime start to 4 seconds this way. We're going to turn this in the opposite direction to start. There it goes. I turned it the wrong way. I was supposed to turn it to prime in this direction versus that direction, and then you turn it the other way to actually start the engine. I screwed up. It goes to the left to prime for 4 seconds, and then to the right to actually start it. We don't need this anymore. It should be okay, I hope. We just turned this to run, and that officially should have our engine on and running. Let's go ahead and turn our warning devices. Actually, we don't want it on yet. I realize it's going to be dangerous going on the turntable there with it. Wow, hello. What do you want me to do now? Dish head and tail light on. It's already on. Really, you want it to some other setting. That's kind of dumb. It's already on, dude. Fine, there you go. Have it to go bright. You want me to blow the horn too? That turned on my bell for me. That's perfect. Anyways, insert the reverser handle. It's not even in there yet. And put that to forward and throttle up. And that should be good enough. Let's roll this guy up onto the turntable there. And we'll just poke our head out so we can kind of see what we're doing here. Get that out of the way, I guess. Unless the sun bothers me, then we'll just put that there. But it doesn't work. Where does it want us to go? It wants us to hook up with a train that already has 2 trains in front of it, so it just wants us to hook up 1 more train to the same train. So knowing we've done this already, by the way, knowing we've gone through this several times now, We just need to kind of remember how to get over to this track. So ignore the track that we're even on. We're going to turn this around completely, almost 180, and we're going to go onto the track that's going to get us up here. Now that I think about it, I didn't realize how convenient this track was right here. This is the better track we could use right here. So we're going to turn this turntable about 180 degrees, end up where the footsteps are, and we're going to back this up going all the way through, and then that will get us to the track we want to get at, which is this guy right here. And then we just have to go back a little bit further and make sure we switch only that one switch there. And that happened to be this switch right here. And are we sitting down? I believe so. Yes, we are. So we're going to go left, but it does help the path of direction to kind of know which way you're going. When you're in the turntable, we're going to move this reverser handle to reverse and throttle to throttle 1. And we'll just poke our head back outside and see where we're going. Did I go to the right one? Oh my god, I went to the wrong one, didn't I? Oh my god, I missed it, folks. I gotta do this over again. That's so sad. How terrible. Okay, as I was saying, go to here, not this last track. Go to the second to last track, lock your turntable, and then leave the room alone and don't touch it anymore. Okay, now that we have this properly done, we're on reverse now. We're going to set our throttle to 1, and we're going to bail off our independent brake and roll our train backwards. Once the train starts moving, there it goes. We're in good position. Let's just blow the horn just for the heck of it, because it's probably going to complain if I don't blow the horn here. And we're going to set this train rolling backward. There's the edge of the switch right there. This is perfect for stopping. And we're going to lock our independent brake right there. We're going to move our throttle to forward. And technically, I could probably do this by popping out the other window and reaching down and changing the switch. I doubt it will let me do that because I just broke the window there. Or I could just simply get out of the train, walk out the door. I still can't reach it. Climb down the steps, and simply switch the lever like that, and then climb back up again. Alright folks, our engine's rolling up at 9 miles an hour, and once it passes the switch, we are going to be in great position to switch the switch lever and get our train rolling in the opposite direction. I'm going to push Q for the alerter just to play it safe. Then we can turn this little background off and watch our train roll on by, while we probably should slow our train down a little bit more there and get this train to stop as we turn the switch there. Once this train's at a full stop, all we got to do is essentially switch over and put the reverser into reverse. You can see the light came on there telling me it's on reverse. Put up the throttle to 1, bail off. Probably should blow the horn just to make this go backwards. And we're essentially going to be rolling up to the cars back over there, or at least the engine where the cars are. So let's go ahead and hop on this train and get us moving. Oh my god, it really did work. That's hilarious. I didn't think that would actually happen that way. Oh, by the way, before we forget, because we have the alerters on here and we have the warning devices on, we should probably hop inside the engine. Wrong way. Hop inside the engine. We should probably turn this cutout valve to cutout for safety's sake, or else we're going to have a PTS valve warning going off on us. So I get the feeling that this train that I'm hooking up to is actually going to be the train that we're going to be driving pretty soon, and we just happen to be setting it up for me to enjoy for later. So I don't know how that's all going to go, but sure, I might as well do a good job setting up this train now, right? And get this hookup to happen. If you're an engineer in this train, this can be kind of the hardest thing to do, to tell kind of how fast you should be going, to kind of tell how easy it is to hit the next train car. Put it this way, if you're going under 4, you're probably going to be in a safe spot. If you're going over 5, you're going to get like a bad deal. If you got the warning alerters on, you might as well just keep pressing Q until you finally hook up with that train up there. You can see how hard that is to tell whether or not you're hooked up to that train unless you see the train just vibrate there. And kind of, we're just slowly going up against it, and it's just going to bump real lightly here, and about there it goes, and we just hit. You see how it wasn't the full 100 feet because my train was about 50 feet big. Now we're just this big giant train here. To switch off any active light on the loco, we're actually going to shut the window here and turn that bell off, because that's kind of be a little annoying. We're going to turn off the warning lights just so we don't have that on. And we're going to turn off our rear headlight. We're going to turn off our front headlight. We're going to turn off our ditch lights, our step light, our gauge light. Actually, we'll keep the step lights on. And our cab lights, we will turn off in a second. Set reverser to neutral and automatic brake to full service. Keep in mind the brake pressure that I was talking about earlier. We currently have 89 sitting in this engine, 4 for pretty much everything else after. So we're just going to put this on full service first. Let this drain out to about 60. And then we're going to go ahead and go to handle off. Did that go to handle off? No, handle off. And we're going to let this drain out at least until it gets around 10. And that should hopefully equalize the pressure properly. There it goes, 10. And we'll put this on the full service there. And when we put this cutout valve now to freight, it just automatically fills it back up to 10, and it doesn't blow out the PCS valve, and it works so much better to do it that way. We're going to set the reverser to neutral, and it basically tells us to go to the office building, and that is it. I believe that's the end of the mission, I think. And I presume this is the end of the mission, folks, so we're going to call it a quits here, and as usual, like, subscribe. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Jeez, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and let me know what you think. Let us go see what our final score is. We got 3630, which is a lot more than the 3,000 that it wanted us to get. So we got full gold medal for this. In fact, that's probably going to get us a platinum medal by doing 3630. So that's pretty good right there. With that, have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Brake actually shut off properly. And it's probably wise to let this fill up, but with 5 cars, it's not going to take very long to fill up anyways. And our train should be moving at this point. What's holding our train back? Go back to notch 1. Release, bail off. My train is stuck. What the heck? This train should not be stuck. It's on forward. The handle's on 1. There it goes. Okay, what's going on? It's taken that long to move those 5 cars? That's insane, man.